Imagine being a woman 4,000 years ago, at the time of Ruth. Imagine being a woman who was married and then husband dies. And suddenly you are left without any propositions or prospects of livelihood. You can't get a job. You can't do anything. And here is a woman who, for all intents and purposes, is kind of left to her own devices. We've been talking about Ruth over these past few days in our walking through the Word, and today we're going to do a term. Yesterday we talked about chesed. Today we're going to talk about kinsman-redeemer, the idea of a kinsman-redeemer. Now, the idea of this, or the levirate marriage as we call it, the idea of this comes from the word levir, which means brother-in-law. Basically, this was a provision that God had placed within the law that said that if brothers dwell together and one of them dies, this is out of Deuteronomy chapter 25, by the way, verses 5 through 10, one of them dies and has no son, the widow of a dead man shall not be married to a stranger outside of the family. Her husband's brother will be the one that marries her. So basically the idea is, if someone passes away and there's no lineage to be had, then it's beholden to the brothers of that person to carry on the family name and carry on the name of the deceased individual. This is not something that was always liked. As a matter of fact, the Old Testament accounting of Onan, the reason why Onan sinned is because he was opposing this idea of the levirate marriage, the kinsman-redeemer. This is why he was struck down, contrary to what people will tell you otherwise. So we have this woman, Ruth, who is gleaning in the fields of a man named Boaz. But Boaz isn't just anyone. I mean, the hand of God is on this situation, because in verses 19 through the rest of the chapter, we see Ruth coming back and visiting with her mother-in-law, Mara, a.k.a. Naomi. And she said, well, where did you go today? And she said, well, I was gleaning in the field of a man named Boaz. And she said, this is so great. Not only is Boaz a great man, he is someone who is in line to potentially be our guardian redeemer, our kinsman redeemer. Don't go anywhere else. Stay with him. And listen, maybe we have a chance at some salvation, of being saved here. Mara, bitter, is seeing that maybe there is some hope for this. Maybe, perhaps, there is the idea that we could be saved by Boaz. This is a pretty significant situation and a huge leap of faith that Naomi's making here. But honestly, I mean, can you blame her? She's clinging to whatever she can at this point. She has had a very, very dark couple of years to this point, with the loss of her husband and then the loss of her sons. And now here she is back in her home country, with no prospects, just a Moabite woman looking after her. This is God's grace, though. So the idea of a kinsman redeemer, the idea of this loyal love, is just like that, one of God's attributes. God is the one who redeems us. When Jesus died on the cross, he acted as our kinsman redeemer, as the one who was going to save us. You see, a kinsman redeemer had more than just that part of it. They also had the responsibility of buying back property members, providing an heir, also avenging a relative who had been killed by a murderer. When Jesus died on the cross, he was the redeemer for all believers. He is the one who avenged God's wrath by taking it upon himself. He is the one who has produced heirs and co-heirs with us, being now the with him in his family. We have been brought in and adopted. We've also been, if you're in this, you've been sold into slavery. The kinsman redeemer is supposed to buy you back. Well, Jesus' blood bought us back, according to what Scripture says. 1 Peter 1:18 and 19 tells us that Jesus is our Redeemer. So when we see this situation going on here with Boaz and with Ruth, we need to be also looking at what it is that Christ has done for us. When we have no prospects, no hope of saving ourselves, our kinsman redeemer, Jesus Christ, has come and has saved us all. We're going to continue with the story of Ruth next time.